Hi everyone, I would like to welcome you to this first Discharge app tutorial. Discharge is a smartphone application that was developed in order to perform non-intrusive optical flow measurements for natural water streams, irrigation, and wastewater channels. This application allows you to set up a discharge measurement site in less than an hour and is being increasingly used from users all over the world. From our website, discharge.ch, you can access the Google Play Store to download the smartphone app. After that, you can access the documentation page. From there, you can download a movie that we will use today. This movie is called Laptop River. This is a movie of a natural river, and we will use it as an example in this tutorial so that you can understand how the app works while sitting comfortably in your office. Once you're familiar with it, you'll be able to go out and perform measurements in the field. Note that all the steps that will be shown in the following are described extensively in the user manual on our website. Take your laptop and incline the screen as horizontally as possible on a flat surface. Run the Laptop River movie in full screen view and in continuous mode. We will perform a measurement based on this movie. So let's assume that it is representing a river flowing in a channel of rectangular cross-section, similar to the one shown on the schematics on the right-hand side. Define 4 markers at different locations on the side of your screen, using some stickers or some tape, as it is done here. Note that the 2 markers on your side should be located closer to another than the 2 other markers located on the other side. We will give these markers nicknames. The marker at the top left is M1, the marker at the top right M2, at the bottom left M3, and at the bottom right M4. Once done with setting the markers, start the app Discharge on your smartphone. Register if you have not done it previously, or sign in if you are already a registered user. When logged in, select the main menu on the top left corner. This drop-down menu allows you to select an organization or have a look at sites or measurements available for a given organization. Additionally, you can also change the settings, get some help, send us a feedback, or obtain some information about the app. We will select the organization Open World, which allows you to freely test all the features of the Discharge app. Once this organization is selected, you can select one of the existing sites. Note that by scrolling down, you can actualize the last changes that you or your collaborators performed on the sites of your organization. Now, create a new site by pressing the plus button at the bottom right of the screen. Here, you can make a picture of the new site and you can name it. We will name it Laptop River. Feel free to name it as you want. The GPS coordinates of this new site will be recorded automatically. If you scroll down a bit, you see that you can choose among a rectangular, trapezoidal, parabolical, or a free profile. In the present case, we will keep things simple and assume that the imaginary river flowing through our laptop has a rectangular profile. Now, we need to enter the width of the river and the distances between the markers in order to proceed to the calibration of the geometrical system. Note that the final results can only be as good as the calibration, so measure the following distances as carefully as possible. First, you need to measure the width of the imaginary river. So grab a ruler and measure the width of the river on your media player. We will then assume that this river has a depth of 5 centimeters. You can then directly enter these distances in the app. You can also change the roughness of the riverbed if desired. For the Laptop River, we will keep the default Manning-Strinkler roughness of 50. If desired, you can access a table presenting reference roughness values for different kinds of riverbeds by selecting the Information button. Note that the roughness value has to be defined as accurately as possible. Then, scroll down a bit and press on the text saying No markers defined. You'll need to measure and enter the following distances. First from M1 to M2, from M3 to M4, and then from M1 to M4, and from M2 to M3. You also need to measure the distances from the markers to the shore of the river. Once the distances between the markers are entered, press on the Set button. Scroll up in order to save the site configuration locally on your smartphone. No, you can either modify, upload, or delete the site you just created. We will now upload it to the cloud by pressing the button representing a cloud at the top of your screen. You can then share or access to your configured site and measurements online from the Discharge.ch web platform. We will now proceed to the measurements by pressing the button with a camera. Go back to your laptop and to the laptop river movie running continuously in full view mode. Position yourself perpendicularly to the flow direction and hold the smartphone so that the opposite side of the laptop river is seen at an angle between 20 and 70 degrees. The larger the area captured by the movie, the more robust your result will be statistically speaking. Therefore, try to maximize the area of the laptop river within the field of view of the camera. Note that the 4 markers should stay in the field of view as well. If needed, you can also adjust the contrast by selecting the contrast button at the top of your screen. Once the contrast is set, tap at the center of your screen for your camera to focus. Once the camera has focused, you can start the measurements by pressing the button at the bottom of your screen. Try to avoid to move during the camera recording. Note that any movements will negatively affect the measurement. One way to avoid moving is to concentrate on one object on the screen for the duration of the measurement. If possible, try to hold the smartphone so that the upper side of your screen is parallel to the shoreline on the other side of the channel. Once the recording is done, you'll have to set the markers manually by moving the blue cursors. Once all markers are set, you can validate the calibration. Then, you have to set the water level manually. You can zoom in order to set it in a more accurate way. Once the water level is set, validate it and you can proceed to processing the video. Depending on your device, the movie processing might take between 2 to 3 minutes. Once the data is processed, you obtain the velocity field at the water surface, which is represented by the blue arrows shown here. The water column, the average velocity, and the discharge are also provided. The values obtained for the water column should be identical on your device, but the velocity and discharge might vary slightly, depending on the dimensions of your screen. If you are satisfied with the measurement, you can upload it to the cloud. You can then access the measurement obtained from the Discharge.ch website. This website is a platform allowing you to visualize, manage, and edit the measurements performed on the field. For instance, you can change the profile you are using, see the rating curve formed by your experimental data, and compare it with a theoretical one. Additionally, you can also export the data for further uses. We are now reaching the end of this first tutorial. Thank you very much for using the Discharge app. Feel free to contact us at discharge@4track.ch if you have any questions, and have a look at the other tutorials that will provide you with some additional information.